Hey guys, I am back with a new video. In today's video, I am going to be talking about what class you guys should be playing in Dragon Raja in 2021, summer 2021. Before we get into today's video, I'm gonna be talking about today's sponsor, which is Huawei AppGallery. And that means you guys are getting free stuff. I love free stuff. You guys love free stuff. You guys are gonna be getting free cashback on every purchase you guys made. The first purchase, if you spend 100 euros, you get 40 euros back, and every purchase after that you get 20% back. Basically how it works is very simple. Jump right into it. First step that you want to do is you want to download Huawei AppGallery. It's basically like an app store or a Google Play Store. You just go and download it on Google, Huawei AppGallery install, or use the link in the description below. That's step one. Once that is done, you do step two, which is download HMS Core. Once HMS Core is downloaded, you want to click on it and you want to make your Huawei ID, which you can use either email or phone number. Once that is done, you want to change your country to Germany, because this campaign for Dragon Raja cashback is in Germany, Switzerland, or Austria, and you do not need a VPN. You can literally do it very simple, just with a click. Once that is done, you download Dragon Raja from the Huawei AppGallery, of course. And once those simple 3 steps are done, you just do whatever you would usually do. You log into Dragon Raja. Let's say you go and buy a pack, 100 euro pack. Once you have bought a 100 euro pack with like PayPal or credit card, whatever, you'll get your Huawei points. Basically what Huawei points is a different currency. So let's say you're spending 100 euros, you get 40 euros back on your first purchase, and you can redeem them right after purchase or back in the Huawei AppGallery. You can see how many points you have at all times. Once you have 40 points, you can just go into the game again, buy a 40 euro pack, but instead of choosing PayPal or your credit card, you just use Huawei points and you get it for free. Very simple, very straightforward. If you guys have any questions about this, there's a Discord link in the description that will give you a guide and support on how to use Huawei points. But that is it. That is the sponsor for today. Yeah, guys, download it and get your free stuff. Come on, it's completely free. And if you're a whale and high spender, you spend like 1,000 euros a month, don't worry, there's a deal for you too. You'll get a 15% extra off every single time you spend. So now let's talk about the classes. And let's start off with the Blade Master. The Blade Master is a good class to play if you are very new to the game and are starting off playing low-level dungeons and so on. It is the usual typical tank in most dungeons. Can take more damage than most of the classes and deal some decent amount of damage. It's very good for early PvE. However, later in the game, it is not as useful anymore, because most of the dungeons and stuff can be done without a Blade Master. So it becomes a little useless, because the tankiness isn't as important anymore and the damage isn't that great compared to the other classes. However, if you are a free-to-play player, I would just suggest playing a Blade Master. But if you are gonna be playing hardcore and going for the end game, the Blade Master probably isn't for you. Later in the PvP, it is up on the front line, taking a lot of damage, and it has a little bit of survivability, so it's better than most of the melee classes when it comes to being able to survive. But again, it will probably most likely lose to the other classes when it comes to PvP. So again, short and easy. New player and you're looking for a tanky class to play and be able to do those dungeons smoothly, go for it. But if you're an endgame player, there's better choices. Next up is the Fighter, another melee class. Now the Fighter unlocks at level 70, and then you can do a class change in the game and get your Fighter. Fighter is again a melee class, DPS, high explosive damage, very good for solo stuff in the game. It has very good explosive damage, but overall when it comes to PvP, it isn't that great, because it has to be up close to the enemies, and once the burst is gone, it's not really that great, and it takes a lot of damage, so it will struggle in mass PvP especially. So Fighter class, if you're used to being that explosive fast DPS, melee range, go for it. But overall there are better options than the Fighter, and you have to put some effort into it and learn the different combos to be able to do damage. It is again a very difficult class to master and play. Next up is Gunsling. Gunslinger is the typical archer that you guys see in MMORPG. I would highly suggest as a new player to try out the Gunsling. It has good range, it has a good amount of DPS, not that hard to play. It is good overall. Not really, but it is decent in PvP overall because it has its range and keeps the range. However, if a class cuts the distance to the gunslinger will lose pretty effectively. So the best way to play the gunslinger is stay ranged, stay away from danger, from bosses and so on. Just do your archer DPS basically. So it used to be one of the strongest DPS since it was long range. It could do some good amount of damage from far. So if you're looking to play like a typical long range DPS and you're a new player, definitely go for it. But if you are playing for the high end game content, then this class is probably not for you. However, next class is the Reaper, also known as the Mage class. The Reaper unlocks at level 70. That's when you can basically choose and play the Reaper. I am obviously not on my main account, so nothing is unlocked. However, I used to play the Reaper. Reaper is till this day the strongest class in Dragon Raja, both for PvP, both for PvE. He has amazing range, amazing mobility, amazing DPS. Is very good for new players. It's very good for high-end players. It's very good for pay-to-win players. And overall, the Reaper takes the cake always. Super strong in mass PvP, super strong in different PvP modes, and very strong in PvE dungeons. So if you're looking for the ultimate class, you guys will probably see a lot of Reapers running around in the game, unfortunately, because the Reaper is ridiculous. Next up is the Assassin. Assassin is a melee DPS, of course. You guys are used to fast attacker, difficult to play. It does have some immunity skills, which is very nice early on in the early PvE dungeons. And it has some good DPS and explosive DPS. It could be good for PvP if you can sneak out and target one-on-one players. But if you get caught again, you will lose pretty hard. Overall, I would wish the Assassin had way more control and stuns, but it doesn't. But overall, there are way better options to the Assassin. So if you really like this thing, like sneaky Assassin type of gameplay, definitely for you. But there are definitely better options out there than the Assassin. The nice thing about the Assassin, it has also some range attacks. If you gotta get away from your enemies, you can still be doing some DPS, which is... Next up is the Puppeteer. Puppeteer is overall a good class. You use basically a puppet to go around and do damage for you. The range is very nice on it. It's very easy overall to play. It has a very nice survivability overall. So it is one of the, I think it's the newest class is Phantom Sound and then the Puppeteer. So overall, it's more of like a support style class and can do really good in like AoE damage. That's where it excels mainly. But overall, it's more of like, I would say, like a support type class, and goes well with like a nice group of in a team. But it's a very like weird style. You basically control your your puppet and do damage for you. But that is what I can say about the Puppeteer. And it unlocks at level 90, so definitely not for newer players. Soul Dancer is the typical healer that you guys will see in most MMOs. It is the support class that will be healing your allies. It can also do some really good DPS. But I will highly suggest this class for newer players, because as a Soul Dancer, you would mainly get invited and you can do most of the early PvE dungeons because people will need the Soul Dancer early. Later on in the game, you can focus on the Soul Dancer's DPS, but it is very nice to have the Soul Dancer in your team when you're doing mass PvP or team PvP. So overall, Soul Dancer is pretty strong till this day. It can dish out some good DPS while being able to have the healing ability, which is always nice, and especially on mobile MMORPGs. So that is the Soul Dancer. Last but not least is the Phantom Sound. The Phantom Sound, honestly, this class's DPS is ridiculous. It can unleash some insane amount of DPS over time. It has nice range, very easy to play. Most people just spam skills and play it. It's the newest class that they have introduced, and it does crazy amount of damage. The two classes that I will highly recommend if you're looking for the high-end tier gameplay and you want to be the strongest in the game, and you're willing to put in some money, the two classes would be Phantom Sound and Reaper. Reaper unlocks again at level 70, and then Phantom Sound unlocks level 90 with a class change in game. Now, that is for like the high-end tier players. If you want to go for that, if you want to play, if you're more of a new player and you're looking to just get through and not get crushed by whales, I will go for the Soul Dancer because of the healing capability. People will not expect you to unleash that good DPS and not expect too much of you. So Soul Dancer is definitely a way to go. So what I would do is I would play Soul Dancer to level 70 and then switch to a Reaper. That's usually how I would play it if I'm a new player. Now Blade Master is also a good option if you're early game and you don't like healing and stuff. Blade Master is good, and if you really want to go for a DPS class early, I would suggest the Gunslinger over the Assassin and the Fighter as a new player, of course. Now if you're a whale, you can make any class work. Let's be real, if you are a whale, you're spending a lot of money, you can make any of the classes work. But if you want to be on the top, Reaper and Phantom Sound is the way to go. Hopefully they will release some new classes soon, so I'll be having an updated guide for you guys very soon. But that is it, guys, for my Dragon Raja updated video. If this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned. I make a lot of MMORPG content, especially on mobile. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye.